Welcome to the Localpreneur Show, a podcast dedicated to featuring community-based entrepreneurs, the principles they live by, and the success they're having making a difference in the world. Here's your host, Austin Kane.
Hey, Jake, thanks for jumping onto the Localpreneur Show. Glad that you could join Vital Storm and myself here as we close up 2021. I know we're just a few more days left in this year, but really glad that you could join. Jake, I know you're a part of Conserva Irrigation out of Richmond, Virginia. So glad that we can share your story and really highlight some of the things that you guys are doing in the community, things that you do from the company's perspective, and some of the things that you do to help the employees that work for you guys grow within your industry and grow in the community as well. Jake, this podcast is really important to us, and really what we're doing is we're highlighting how companies are making an impact in their areas by the things that they do through their service work, and also the things that they plug themselves into and involve themselves in the community. So before we jump in and talk about you and talk about your company, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little about Conserva, kind of who you guys are, how you were founded, and where you guys are coming from.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Austin. So I'm Jake Mathre. I'm the director of franchise operations for Conserva Irrigation. So we are a national irrigation service and maintenance franchise, currently 60 locations nationwide, covering 24 states. And really our mission is looking at the irrigation industry as a whole and kind of understanding that, water is a precious natural resource that we're utilizing. And, when you see irrigation or you think of irrigation, a lot of people, especially kind of in the conservation aspect, look at it as kind of, a complete waste of that precious resource. And really our mission as a company is saying, there's a need for irrigation with agronomics and landscaping and flowers, and everyone wants that. But how do we look at that from an industry perspective and say, let's do it in a responsible manner? So really our specialization as a company is in servicing and maintaining existing systems, and really looking at it as an education opportunity of informing homeowners, property managers, HOA boards about smarter ways and more efficient ways to use the resource. And then doing that from a franchise perspective of really empowering entrepreneurs to take that message then into their individual markets and have an impact there. And the results we've seen are great. I mean, I think in the 10 years I've been with the company and now 5 years franchising, the consumer response to that has improved a lot, where I think it's more top of mind. People understand that, water is a precious resource, that we have to make sure we are being responsible with it. But at the same time, everybody wants, nice grass, run around on with their kids. Yeah. They want, the beautiful flowers, but it's just a way to focus on, let's do it responsibly and effectively.
Yeah. No, I that's the life we live down. We're down in Dallas, and so I mean it gets super hot in the summer, and it's the message that's preached every month, every week, every day that hey, I know it's 110 outside, and you want your grass to be green, but try and conserve water. But I would say there's a slim majority of people that actually listen to that message. So I get where you're coming from, and how precious the water is. It's a completely different story, but Dallas again, we had that ice storm this February, and tons of people were out of water, and I was washing baby bottles in the bathroom sink because that's the only sink that works for us. So I mean, I can't imagine if that was like on a daily level, just because you had to conserve so much. So no, I get it. And so it's cool to hear that you guys are trying to impact the whole country and plug yourself into all these different areas to try and get that message across. So well, Jake, I appreciate you having you here. Let's jump into a couple of the questions that we'll dive into, and really kind of see how you're plugging yourselves into the community and share more about you guys. But tell us and all the listeners kind of about the impact that your organization is making in the local community, whether that be how you're training them on conserving water, some of the philanthropy things that you guys are involved in, and what impact that really is making on everybody that you're helping.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest kind of our biggest philanthropic partner is really on a national level is, maybe not within the local communities, but us as in North America and more so in the United States is we are very fortunate with the abundance of water we have. So we've partnered with a company called Charity Water. Their mission is providing clean water to other parts of the world. You think of parts of Africa,
Yeah.
Asia, South America, where even clean drinking water is not available to those communities. So we've looked at it to say, one, yes, as a company mission, we want to try to save water on a local level and conserve it and be responsible with it. But at the same time, let's use the benefit of abundance we have here in America, not only from water, but also, very blessed and fortunate when we think of, lifestyle, and try to give back. And we have 100% participation from our franchise system as far as donating to that cause.
Wow.
And, we've helped establish, the project that we have going on with them right now is drilling wells in Madagascar.
That's awesome.
And, it's really that from a national level. And then from a local level, I mean, we encourage all of our franchisees to really get involved. Every city, state that we have representation in, there's some conservation association there. You think of the watershed districts, lakes, rivers, everyone has that association that's really focused on preserving, protecting water. And we really encourage the franchisees on a local level to, give back to them, volunteer, become active, but really become a partner with them in, we're talking about the same messaging. So how can we help with our initiative to impact their initiative? And it's not always, just cutting a check, sometimes
Right.
the word of mouth and just explaining what those causes are and bringing awareness to the community is more impactful than, cutting a check out to the organization and saying, here, do with it as you wish. I mean, we feel that the power of word and the power of, being that person to go out and really explain and educate why it's important is more impactful.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that kind of reminds me of there's a guy out here in our area that he partners with the nonprofit that does kind of the same thing. They build wells over in Africa for areas that don't have access to clean drinking water. And one of the big things, I can't remember, is 2019 or 2020, but he slept out on the lake. He had like this little houseboat that he built and just slept on it for days until he reached a certain dollar amount, because it was for obviously the money to help raise money, but it's also awareness. I mean, the whole community is now, kind of invested in that project and knows about it and can help in different ways than, like you said, just cutting the check. So yeah, I 100% agree with that. So, what impact do you think that what you guys are doing has made on the communities or maybe the people that are working with you guys? What impact do you guys see that's made on them?
Yeah, it's really, from a, the educational side to the homeowners and the end users from a conservation standpoint is, we always talk about it is a typical irrigation system is going to use 2 to 3 times as much water as the landscape actually needs. So by educating the end user of that and then providing them with tools and resources and products, smart controller technology that's going to adjust the watering based on the exact need of the landscape, more high efficient heads and application devices. and really getting that, the waste out of the way is the first impact. But then the end user, the customer, is seeing it on their water bills every month is, wow, this is affecting my wallet as well. And then they're out kind of being a champion for it to their friends, to their network is, yes, we're saving water, but it's the impact to them as well as that, their checkbooks being saved. And then that's really empowering them to go out and say it's a need. It's not an expense, it's an investment. Invest now, save over the long run, and you're making the double impact. And I think that's where the biggest impact, we kind of compare it to recycling a lot. If you think back of when recycling started, it was like, it wasn't really taken on by everyone. And it really took educating people about the need for it and the impact. And then over time, more and more people started to, buy into the concept. And I think that's what we're seeing now is, again, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, kind of that customer response was, that's great, you can save me money and water, but I still need everything to look healthy and great. Whereas now it's almost becoming the first thing they're looking at is, yes, I want the landscape, but I also want to make sure I'm doing it responsibly. And I really think we're seeing that turn of customer response and want for the efficient products more than, having to educate every single time. Now we get customers that are asking, right? We're going to a system and, hey, do you guys use that smart controller technology? Or I've seen this, how does it match up with other ones? And they're becoming more educated on their own before we even have a conversation.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And just having this conversation with you makes me want to look into it. I mean, I can see a big need down here because, like I said earlier, when it does get hot, everybody just starts throwing more water on their yard. But, is it worth it? Is it working? Probably not. So, it makes me want to kind of dive in and learn more. So I appreciate you sharing all that. Anything else about kind of how you guys are plugging into the organization or the local community, how you guys help out, or you kind of really hit the high point so far already?
Yeah, I think from a education, philanthropic side, that's the one way. And then it's really is, we're trying to, educate kind of the younger generation on, opportunities within the industry as well. It's kind of looked at as not many people understand the career opportunities there are in this space. And we've developed some educational resources, training resources to really bring somebody, with no experience in irrigation to out and give them the tools to understand it, troubleshoot it, fix it in a short amount of time, and really giving them a career opportunity. So where we see the growth is by getting more people active in the industry, getting kind of that younger generation invigorated about it, and going out and being that face as well. I think that'll be the biggest impact over the next 10 years is really the growth of new blood and breath into the industry. Kind of honing into that different expectation, different experience. And that, from a career opportunity, when you think about it of, everything now, when we look at student loan like debt and college tuition, and, this is a real opportunity similar to other trades that you don't have to put yourself into $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 worth of debt to walk away with a career where you're making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. And it's kind of that educational opportunity, again, from a different impact within the communities, but trying to build that education of trades are still out there, no matter how much sophistication and automation we get in the world, trades will always still be needed. That's a hands-on skill set. So really trying to re-educate kind of the masses on that as well, that college is for some people, it's not needed for all jobs. And there's great opportunities out there for people that want to learn.
Yeah, no, very cool. Yeah, I 100% agree there. Trades is something that, there's a lot of people that are needed in that industry, and there's all these crazy stats that in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be nobody that's wanting to work in the trades based on the recent trends. So I think that is a big area of educating people and giving them the right resources and tools to say, hey, this is a lucrative opportunity to grow and grow yourself professionally. So you guys are already plugging yourself in there and giving them those tools to educate them and help them can be a huge impact on their lives down the road. So Jake, so that's kind of a perfect segue into the next part. Tell about the people that already work for you guys and you yourself. How's the organization really made an impact on you and the other people that work there? I mean, what do you guys feel on a daily or monthly or yearly basis as the things that you guys are doing in the community? What does that make you feel like working for a company like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really something that, it's you're doing something that's bigger than yourself. So my background in the company was I was the first technician for the founding location in Minneapolis, and now have ascended to kind of the director of operations for the franchise. So, but it's really when we talk about educating and the opportunity within irrigation, is it really is, especially with the younger generation, is what's the purpose, right? It's not always about what the pay is anymore. It's is there a purpose of the company? Is there, kind of that bigger mission? And I think that, especially with the conservation aspects, the educational component of working with the end user of, there really is a purpose. Yes, we're going to go fix the sprinkler system. We're going to go, take care of the issues. But the bigger purpose is we're going to help the end user save money. We're going to help the end user save water. And we get to do that through education and servicing and maintaining systems. I think that's the biggest thing we've seen, especially through the new training systems and education to the field staffs across the country, is they're really honing into that, this is bigger than me opportunity. It's right. It's a career for me, but we have an opportunity to really change right now and take advantage of that. And let's go do it. Let's go educate people. Let's really make this a bigger mission than just simple kind of generalized irrigation repair and maintenance.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That sounds like a great cause. I mean, it sounds like, you said what you guys have been doing at the irrigation side for how long again? 10 years, you said?
Yeah, so the founding location was opened 10 years ago, and we've been franchising since 2017. So just wrapping up on our 5th year of franchising, and then, like I said, 60 locations nationwide. So really, spreading that message. And when we think of fields technicians across the system, I think it's the final number that we were looking at is about 350 technicians nationwide with the 60 locations. Wow. And that's growing at a rapid pace, not only from location count, but then, the organic growth of each individual location, adding new locations, where really we see it, over the next 2 to 3 years of, 1,000, 1,500 individual technicians around the country spreading this message.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You guys are growing super fast, especially just since doing it for only 5 years, really the franchising part of it. And I can see the passion, in your face and hearing your voice when you talk about it. So, I can only imagine, what goals you guys have set and how you're going to accomplish those and the impact you guys are going to be making in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So, Jake, is there anything that maybe I didn't ask, or maybe that you want to highlight about the company before we jump off, if you haven't already highlighted already today?
No, I think it's just, for your, audience out there watching this is, research and look at kind of if you have an irrigation system, look at ways to make it more efficient. If you're thinking about getting one, be a responsible customer and ask the questions about what products are being installed, and then research them before having it done. Because again, it's, irrigation's it's a need. There's a need to have it, as far as, from an agronomic standpoint, from a, viability standpoint of landscapes and yards and curb appeal. But let's just make sure we're doing it responsibly. And the more educated the consumer becomes and demands that their systems are working efficiently and they're not wasting water, the better it is for everyone. And it really is that, if you have a system, just be aware how much water should I be using. And there's plenty of tools out there. And if we have a lot of good resources on our website as well that kind of explain, how to measure that, where to find it, what the efficient products are, that, just as a consumer from your audience is become more educated, become more conscious that there is a need and there's a better way to do it out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing that definitely is going to help everybody watching this, anybody that passes it along. I think that's the one tip. And you walk away with anything, walk away with that one right there. So Jake, again, I appreciate you jumping on here on the Localpreneur show, sharing everything about Conserva Irrigation again, and how you guys are helping impact the community. Maybe one day down the road, we can have you join again and share all the new things that you guys have been doing. So Jake, thanks again, and looking forward to having you on again in the future.
Awesome, Austin. Anytime, definitely would be happy to come back.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jake.
Thanks again for listening to the Localpreneur Show. For more of our daily content, feel free to check out Josh or Austin's LinkedIn.